Yep.
What time is it, Adam?
It's time to offer Dr. Octopus salt water or fresh water because he's an octopus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was really struggling to think of a line here.
Yeah, it's amazing because I forgot that line even existed in that film. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about Far From Home. Finally came out.
See, I imagine we're mainly going to be talking about this film, but we're obviously going to talk about every other Spider-Man film and probably MCU film that Tom Holland Spider-Man is in.
Yeah, and then the Sony universe as well. We'll probably talk about.
Yeah,
a little bit
towards the end.
So
yeah.
spoilers, duh.
Oh, heavy. I mean, the problem is I don't think you can talk about this film without talking about spoilers.
No, you really can't.
You know, because not much to talk about unless
Yeah. So I was very thankful. Got to see it day one. No midnight. Didn't do midnight this time around. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the world was doing midnight for this film. So anyway,
probably COVID reasons. I don't know.
I don't know. UK was kind of pretending COVID didn't exist at that time.
Oh, fair.
We've only reintroduced that in the past couple of days. Yeah, I was very careful because I didn't. My viewing wasn't till 9 p.m. on that day, and of course, so many people were running out at 9 a.m. to see the film. And I was like, "Fuck that! I don't wake up that early."
Yeah.
So then, run to this. So I'm on the bus earlier that day, and I hear people talking about it. And my headphones are turned up max, and I'm still hearing it leak through. So I'm just trying to skip songs to find one with the loudest introduction possible to drown it out.
So you put on Junkie XL.
I did put on Junkie XL. Yeah, and then I saw it. I didn't get it spoiled, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. No Way Home. For what it was. It was a bit of. I'm gonna describe it exactly how I described it when someone replied to my Instagram story about it. It was exactly what I wanted. A bit of multiversal nonsense.
I mean, well, you see, I think you're in the majority opinion here. Not really. I mean, there's a lot of people going out and saying this is the best,
movie
superhero film ever, and some people are saying it's the best movie ever. I disagree with both personally, because I think at the minute we're in that kind of honeymoon fever.
So we have had this with every Holland. We talked about this on the Holland episode. We've had this with every Holland film so far, where they come out. But I think this one's very funny because I think it's almost getting the opposite treatment. As much as I do like this film, it's getting a lot of unnecessary praise.
Yeah,
that I think. Whereas the other ones were getting necessary praise that turned into bitterness for no reason. This one, people are just gonna sour themselves on it.
Yeah, because we're very different. Because we like Tom Holland. We like his.
Yeah, Spider-Man. I like Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I think we have been defending his films and his Spider-Man for a while now, and I think it's kind of strange now that
it's kind of Doctor Strange, if you will.
Yeah, we're almost being oh, we like this guy, but we don't really like everything about this. Because basically Tom Holland haters are now oh, what are you talking about? This is he's great now. I've changed my mind and stuff because of one fucking film, which I think's a terrible view. But it's also about another actor who features in this film that I'll talk about later. Oh, fucking Star Wars prequels all over again. But yeah, no, it's kind of strange the fact that the people defending Tom Holland are kind of no.
But they're not defending.
It's good, but it's not that good.
They're not defending his previous two films. They're saying everything else he has done has been shit.
Yeah,
and this is now good Spider-Man.
Because I'm just going to throw out there, I've talked to a lot of people who've seen this film. I've talked to you, and even though we haven't really discussed it too much because we were waiting for this episode, but I don't really like this film, and I'm very disappointed by it because I don't know, I just really liked Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and this film's it's not ruined his Spider-Man for me. It just, there's a lot of wasted potential in this film, and I think the main problem I have with it is this was the only chance to do it, and now we can't do that again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That being said, there's a lot of stuff I like about this film. I would like to clarify that straight away.
They really didn't...
Go on. Yeah.
Okay, let's start at the start of the film, and let's just work our way through.
Well, prior to going into the film, I thought, oh, this is going to be a piece of shit. And then after the first act, I was like, oh, geez, you know, like the first act happened. I was like, geez, you know, this is pretty good. Like everything's kind of on the ball. And then after the first act, go on.
No, you finish. I'll say it after.
Well, after the first act, I was just like, oh no, something bad's happening here. And then stuff started to kind of fall apart, and scenes were going on for too long, and the comedy wasn't really sticking, and lines were being thrown about like they mean stuff, but they really don't. And I think it's the middle part of this film is where it really started to fall apart for me. And I love the ending. I think it's a great ending. It's an ending no one would have suspected, really. I think it's probably one of the biggest sacrifices we've seen in a superhero film. And that's bold. That's very bold, I feel. Like saying...
biggest
sacrifice
since BVS.
Yeah. Well, even Endgame, I think there's a bigger sacrifice in Endgame, this ending.
Endgame's was very different because there's such a difference between a sacrifice in the middle of a story and a sacrifice as an end of a story.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's seeing how the character continues from that.
Yeah.
So that's just the difference between it and Endgames. Because like, it's not like we get to pop in with Iron Man after, you know,
no, I know what you mean.
Sacrificed himself.
Yeah. I think this film, mainly the ending, is a good closing of the book on this trilogy.
Yeah.
I just wish the whole film was, I appreciated in the same way.
So let's work through this one. One issue I have, I find it very almost hard to distinguish between the acts in this film. I think the third act's very clear cut. This is the third act.
Yeah,
but it's very hard to distinguish
between.
Acts. Yeah, it does, because it has its first act, which is fuck. Let's wrap up Far From Home. Let's wrap up Far From Home. Then it has the second first act where now we're in the multiverse.
Yeah, and I think you mainly see this problem because they obviously the original idea was obviously
doing
Craven.
A multiverse film.
Yeah,
there's going to be Craven hunting Spider-Man.
No, I heard we'll get into that in a minute. But
go for it.
Because what I heard, and this was a year after Far From Home. This is about 6 months before they were starting shooting. The original idea was that it was going to be Craven, and he was basically going across the multiverse, killing every single Spider-Man.
Oh.
And that he was going to come to, Tom Holland's universe and be like, all right, I know who he is. And then the whole film was going to deal with that. I think what was going to happen was the first act was pretty much the same, and I imagine the same thing with Doctor Strange was going to be in it. And that sort of fuck up more led to Craven being transported to this universe than anything. I think the rest of the film, bar the ending, was completely rewritten, and you can really tell because two big problems I have with this film is, one, the script was obviously very rushed, and two,
COVID obviously fucked this film.
Yeah. Well, I think they should have delayed filming this film 6 months.
This film should come out next year. We didn't need this film this year.
No.
I don't know
because
why they...
the CG looks awful at parts.
Well, CG looks awful. It's very obvious the actors weren't there for so much of it. It's why Sandman's made a sand for the whole film.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'm guessing.
Oh, no, I think that is true. Apparently due to schedule conflicts and COVID.
I think the only reason Lizard's in the film is just because they could put him in easily. This film is no different without Sandman and Lizard. It's the same film.
Both that shot they used of the actors that played Lizard and Sandman. It was both like stock footage from the previous films.
No, you can see it because there's a comparison between it and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, and the same with the first main Spider-Man film.
Yeah, Lizard.
It's literally the same. I mean, I think we're going to get into more of the problems with these characters later on. Because, like, the CG, when Goblin breaks his mask and stuff, first of all, I love how, like, when Willem Dafoe looks really young, then he turns around and he's really old again. It's like, oh, the CG clearly wasn't finished here. Like, the that whole sequence is completely CG, and you can tell. It just doesn't look
Which
good.
one?
Like, when he's talking to his mask,
Yeah,
and then he
but that's
breaks
'cause
his mask.
They didn't have the suit. They didn't have the old suit, and I don't
Didn't have anything.
know why.
Well, I think even
really
you can
didn't.
do really good CG. I think if you give them another 6 months, it would have looked good. It's just the problem that it was clearly a rushed film. You know.
Well, it wrapped filming this year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Usually,
Like,
I don't know.
yeah.
I think it could have looked worse.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think for what they have, it looks good, but like, I really wish
I
it
think that's
had
the only
another
reason.
6 months.
I think it's the only reason they didn't change the lizard design fully.
Yeah, because they had it.
Because
Probably.
you reckon they had intended to change his design?
Because I think it looks worse.
Well, that's because the effects.
Because the
are good on it.
CG's bad. Yeah, because they and they keep him in the shadows to kind of hide the fact that they don't have him fully rendered. You know
Well,
what
that's
I
why
mean?
they don't have him in the apartment scene.
Yeah, and he's in a truck or something. Right, I went to the toilet. I went to the bathroom after the whole Doctor Strange fight, and after I think I was like, no, maybe I can sit through the rest of the film. But when Willem Dafoe said, you know, I'm something of a scientist myself, I was like, no, I'm with the toilet.
Yeah,
So I went to the
didn't-
toilet.
I didn't like that. So
Yeah,
the issue with repeated lines is they kind of have to be very integral to the character. He said that once. So it makes sense for Doc Ock to look at the art character and go, "Oh, the power of the sun upon my hand," because it's so kind of integral to the
in the
character.
third act. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he says
Not
it.
the start.
He says the power of the sun at the start.
Yeah. And it's so strange because he's under control
That entire
at that point.
bridge. No, he isn't.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, the
No,
arms are
he isn't.
controlling at that point.
The arms are controlling him.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You said he was in control.
No. He, right, you know what I mean. You know what I meant to say. The arms are in control at that point.
I thought you meant... No, I actually didn't.
No, I
I
know what you
genuinely
mean,
thought you
yeah,
meant
yeah.
Otto wasn't...
All right,
anyway.
no.
I thought you meant... Yeah. Otto was weird in this film. So...
Yeah, because he was never like that. My problem is all these characters didn't act like themselves from the previous films at all.
I think Goblin did. He was a bit...
I think someone needs to tell Willem Dafoe, right, enough's enough. Let's calm it down a wee bit here. You're going a bit too mental.
You know what? I took it as, given, because he knew he was going to die, that's probably how his Goblin would have reacted if he found out you are definitely going to die if you go back. If his character was faced with his mortality like that, he probably would go that mental, because that's kind of how his Goblin was. His Goblin was batshit.
I just didn't believe at all. I don't know why they do it like a twist, but it's so obvious that, it's like they're going to reveal that, no, he's here. Because why wouldn't he be there? I didn't think they did that well.
Honestly, I would have given him... I just would have given him monologues where he just is on his own and does the Goblin thing. I just would have revealed it. And just had more scenes of him arguing with Norman. Because I want to address this, because this was, I think, when we did that video of our concerns for Far From Home, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I had that concern that the villains weren't going to act like the villains, or they weren't going to give them the time they needed. And to be fair, as soon as I saw that scene of him in the alleyway, I was like, okay, no, they have an understanding.
Yeah, but then they don't really do it.
I thought it was fine. I was actually okay with it, because Elektra barely had a character.
Yeah, I feel bad for
Neither
Jamie
did
Foxx.
Sandman. Honestly, it just should have been Doc Ock, Goblin, and Elektra.
Yeah, it should have been.
It should have been a
because
villain for each Spider-Man.
Having the Lizard and Sandman doesn't make any sense at all. Like, for their
No,
characters.
it's really weird.
It doesn't change anything.
The film's the exact same.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't add anything. They just want to do it to be like, oh, cool, look, we'll have these from these films. I think, because honestly, them three makes a lot more sense, because they are fan favourites to a degree. I mean, Sandman is a big fan favourite, but his character was done. He had that moment. He was the only character that had that moment. The other one being Dr. Connors.
Connors had his moment of redemption where he picked Peter off of the building.
Yeah. You know, they had those moments. Like, Doc Ock, yeah, fair enough, but it's like, I want to see him again. You know, like, I'm okay with that.
Doc Ock, they tell you the exact moment he got teleported from.
Yeah, when he grabs Peter in the throat.
Yeah, and that's at the very end.
Yeah.
So that was kind of... Yeah, I don't know if I liked college being Peter's main motivation here.
I don't mind the...
That's
not my problem with the film.
I don't know. There should... I think... Just
because he's acting very selfless.
The early part of the... He is very selfless, which is good. But I just wish there were more consequences for his identity being revealed. That were more so... I would have loved if MJ and Ned were more like being fucking harassed in the streets.
Yeah. Well, they were to a degree.
I don't really... They were at the start of the film. Yeah. Then it's just kind of, oh, we're not going to get into college because of this. It's like, oh, it seems like kind of a more basic plot that I think should have been a bit more serious.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It needed... I don't know. It was fine.
It's amazing. This film
needed
did
to be something to move
Flashpoint
it.
before DC. That's such an obvious nod.
Yes. Strange.
Well, right. I'll tell you one thing about this, and it really pissed me off. All the this film is so jarring, and this should have been the fourth film, because, you know, I think we should have had like a fourth middle film, and then, you know, had another trilogy or some bullshit. You know, it's bad when the Amazing Spider-Man universe was gonna have, you know, a more logical fucking continuation than fucking MCU.
Yeah, this was very all over the place.
Well, my fact is, the characters that you know and love in Homecoming and Far From Home aren't in this. They're in one scene. They're all in one scene each. They only, like, all the teachers, one scene. I liked them. They were very funny. They're not in this. You know, Betty's not in this, even though she probably should have been since she's working for the Daily Bugle.
So what they used Betty for, Betty was in a lot of marketing. They did a lot of marketing.
Yeah, I saw that, but 99% of the people don't watch that shit. You know, like, that's my point. Like, they're doing a fucking Palpatine and Fortnite situation.
Well, I'm gonna guess that if the most scenes that were cut from this film were in the first act.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a Morgan Stark scene.
Yeah, I heard that. There's also a scene that shows, and you only see like clips of it and stuff, where it was going to be like everyone being more like vicious towards Spider-Man when he's trying to help people, because we don't really get that, because he's not. It doesn't show you him trying to help people at the start, really.
Yeah, there was a courtroom scene that I'm gonna guess was cut, if there was one. I don't.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that was filmed or not, because I wouldn't be surprised if they just couldn't have that many people, and that's kind of closed of a room.
Yeah.
I think that's entirely possible with just when it was filming.
Because most of the crowd scenes were outside.
It was like February, so that was when Delta was really going mad.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Because I imagine they filmed all the
if there was a
big
Morgan
battle
Stark
shit
scene,
straight
I'm guessing Gwyneth Paltrow was in it.
Nah.
You think it was just her?
Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't think. Gwyneth Paltrow wouldn't even know she was in the film. Oh, did she?
She said she'd do it. No, she said she'd come back if they paid her.
Oh, fair. No, I don't think there'd be any point to pay her for one scene. It was probably Happy. Happy probably had Morgan or something. I don't know.
Happy had not a lot to do in this film.
Pissed me off that. Well, fuck it. We'll just talk about it. Why that May die?
Because it was too late for them to do Uncle Ben, and people kept complaining. This one felt very much like they were appeasing the worst fans.
This is my problem with this whole film. There's a lot of fan pandering, and it's ultimately because I don't think this does. Like, I think Endgame does it forcefully, but I think it's done forcefully in the way that Rise of fucking Skywalker did it, because it's just sort of like, I don't care. You know, I was just like, why'd you do this? We've done this before. They didn't even talk about Tony in the whole fucking film. I imagine that's why they cut the Morgan Stark shit out. Yeah. You know? That's probably why.
I really thought Elektra with an arc reactor should have been a bigger threat. I think the concept
of Electro drawing at the end?
The concept of Electro drawing his power from an arc reactor.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Is like... That could almost be a film.
Yeah.
Like,
it's almost like you could get him and someone who would scavenge for this kind of stuff. I don't know, like, a vulture or something. Or
yeah.
No mention of him now in 2 films.
None.
2 films.
None.
2 fucking films.
No, he's over in the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, right. We gotta talk about this at the end about what the fuck's going on. Especially with that fucking post-credit scene.
Right. So let's skip the first act. What do you think of Matthew Murdock? We'll quickly just wrap that up.
All right.
We knew it was happening. It was what it was.
Oh yeah, I saw the leaked photos.
Yeah, I think everyone did.
You know all the leaked photos that I didn't send you because I was like, no, I'm definitely not going to send
real.
them. Oh yeah, they were all real. I love them. I was just like, no, but like the leaked photos didn't spoil anything because I was like, yeah, we fucking know they're in all these people are in the film.
Well, so my housemate didn't watch any trailers, didn't have any promotion. He only got spoiled where I kind of accidentally let slip. But I'd be like, well, your Sandman's in the new one. He's like, no, I didn't know that, Adam. Thanks a lot.
Fair.
So he didn't know Daredevil was in it, and then when he pops in, I'll get to a different complaint later. So I could see he got quite excited about it.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Yeah, I have complaints about this as well.
We'll get into it.
Fuck it, we're doing it right now.
Use our fucking children. It's not a fucking pantomime. Shut
100%.
the fuck up.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Adam, I have to edit this. I'd like to remind you. No, but
you're gonna be filled.
Honestly, I'm so fucking pissed off. So I am, because it was the first time it's happened for me.
I've never had this.
Usually when this happened, it happened to us when we watched Rise Skywalker, but it was at the end. Everyone clapped. That's fine. I'm fine with you clapping.
People did during Endgame. At the end.
Didn't happen to me, luckily. But yeah, at the end, I'm fine. See, clap at the end. First of all, I'd like to clarify, why are people clapping at the end of a film? It's not like theatre where the actors are standing there. Who are you clapping for? No one can hear it. Like, it's so fucking stupid.
I know.
Unless you're doing your fucking...
about you going, oh, like, oh, you're friends. I don't care that you saw it on Instagram.
I couldn't hear half the film.
You dumb fucking idiot.
When Matt Murdock showed up, I was like, oh god. I was like, yeah, well, I kind of knew already. But then everyone's screaming. It's like, oh great, I can't hear the scene. Like,
yeah, there were these.
I want to bring this up because a lot of people have been complaining about Martin Scorsese's comments about how Marvel films are theme park rides. What are the fans doing? They're not helping themselves. Yeah, like all they go and cry and then they just prove them right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand.
Oh this is the Instagram clip.
Oh, 100%. No, I'm putting this in. No, but it genuinely...
Shut the fuck up. We had it so bad. In the third act, there was a bit of comment where he makes think of, somewhere there'll be a black Spider-Man, and Andrew winks towards the camera a little bit.
Yeah.
And someone in the behind just goes, you heard someone go, there is a black Spider-Man. Me and my housemate were joking after our act. That's the same fucking dickhead who would have said, there's Stan Lee.
Yeah, because it's such a blatant nod. And it's obviously a nod towards Miles Morales being in the main Spider-Man universe. Which makes sense. Complete sense.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Idiot.
But,
laughing. Some people gasped a little bit so they clapped, but they stopped when Toby and Andrew started speaking. So I was like, fine. But if it kept going, I saw some audience reactions, and you genuinely couldn't hear the scene, as I think you said you had.
Oh yeah, I couldn't hear the fucking scene. I didn't know what people were saying, and then you wonder why my experience has been ruined about that film. Like it does piss me off that you wouldn't get that in any other any film but a Marvel film. You wouldn't get it in. You genuinely wouldn't get it in any other film but a Marvel film. It really pisses me off.
Well, that's because Marvel fans. I'm sorry, guys, but these are fucking idiots. These are genuinely.
Are they watching too much of Sips? They're watching Sips too much, where he does these really over. It's all these TikTok fucking Marvel people that do these really overreactions. Where they completely overreact.
It's not theater. It's not theater. Yeah. You shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Because at least when you go see Macbeth, it's like we all know the story. We all know the story, right? I haven't seen this film yet. Stop fucking talking.
I know. Oh my Christ.
Well, annoying me, there was two people sitting next to me, and they were taking photos throughout the film, and I was like, I can see the fucking flash. I'm just like, I don't get this. It was honestly the worst theater experience I've ever had. Like,
I've had some worse ones with kids films where people will legit just take phone calls in the middle of it.
Kids film, fuck it. I don't
but at
care.
least you know what to expect.
Yeah, because like you're going into a cinema when there's a bunch of kids watching, they're obviously going to be crying and screaming. I'll let that be. They're children. I'll let it go.
My
Not these fucking adults.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're just stop.
Anyways, we'll move on. We'll move on from that. That was a really angry tangent.
No, like it needs to be said. You aren't fucking children. Stop fucking clapping. Stop screaming. I want to watch the fucking film. Why'd you do it? What? How does it improve your experience of the film? I don't mind if you look at your friend and kind of go like, ooh, like get a little bit giddy. Like that's fine.
Like if we were watching that film and he said Parasol the Power Hands, I would have looked over at you. We would have had like a wee smile, maybe a mild chuckle, but there would be no screaming. Maybe. Yeah,
there'd be no screaming. There'd be no clapping. We wouldn't. Yeah. If we were sitting more than like a seat apart, he also wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Because now we're seeing these big groups of people come in, take up an entire fucking row, and shout across to each other. Like, Jesus Christ. But we had people who came in half an hour late, and then like there were not enough seats, but it was booked seats in the cinema. So they were asking us if we'd move up, and we were like, no. If we'd move, and we were just like, no. Like, I was like, I booked these seats, and this film's been on for half an hour. Yeah. It was the bridge battle. They came in.
So the first kind of like action sequence.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't even think you're supposed to be in this screening. Go to a different one. Yeah, there's screenings every 10 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. No, literally because of they can have half capacity as well at the minute.
No, not in UK at this point. This was a full screen.
Right. That's why all screenings are booked out here, because you can only have half a screening.
Let's give the film some praise. Marvel did one thing that. Something I complain about a lot. What do I mainly complain about in the MCU as a whole, in terms of something that I'm very particular on?
Mads Mikkelsen not being Doctor Doom.
They did music right this film.
Yeah. I just find it very underwhelming. Better. I think there's some problems, such as I don't think it's the music. I think it's more sound design, where it's like they only play like a snippet of Electro's theme when he's introduced and never again.
Yeah.
Doc Ock again, the same. Green Goblin.
They did Doc Ock's well because
they did the redemption one.
They do it in the bridge battle. Yeah. They do his menacing one when he comes in the end, but then they switch it to his rival, and then they do the scene with him and Peter, and then they play a different version, and then they play.
Yeah, like I like that, but the whole Electro thing, I was like, at least go the full hog. He's a great theme tune. It's fucking dubstep, like.
Yeah, they should have gone more on Electro, but they were very much. They were very much not too concerned by the Amazing Spider-Man in this film. This was very much a
But Adam, thing. You're amazing.
Did they say that?
You're amazing. Yeah, you're just really amazing. Like, do you not remember that? I fucking died inside when they said that. Both of them look at him and say, "Oh, what are you talking about? You're just amazing. Like, you're amazing." They say it more than once. Science scene? No, I think it's when they're like just talking to each other before the big battle.
Okay. Yeah, no, maybe I do remember that. As I want he's around the time he's getting.
It's after the back.
They're talking about fighting aliens.
Yeah.
That was cute. Andrew, they changed his character a lot, but I think it's.
What mass murderer? He became a mass murderer.
He became a mass murderer.
He fucking said, "Oh yeah, I went a bit mental," and I was like, "Sorry, is this BVS? What's
Well, no, he just said he stopped pulling his punches.
Yeah, he fucking killed someone then.
Well, no, I could just really hurt someone.
Do you know how strong Spider-Man is? He's pretty strong. Fair,
that's probably how Lizard died.
I love how they don't talk about how, like, no, they don't say he dies though, do they?
No, all their fate is to die fighting Spider-Man. Oh, they say that, yeah, every single one of them. Oh, actually, Sandman's introduction was hilarious.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter. Remember, it's me, Flint Marko. It's like, oh my Christ.
It's so
You're made
obvious.
of sand. You're made of sand.
Who else
is
it gonna be? Dr. Connors, is that you?
There was not a reference to Otto knowing Dr. Connors. That was a little weird.
Yeah, I thought that was weird because when they were talking about it, it's like, no, that's Dr. Connors. And I was like, Otto gonna say something? Nope.
Because they were they were fairly good on like keeping continuity like that.
Yeah, there was some continuity.
Doc Ock's hair was really weird.
Yeah.
That was
I think
not
that's
how
more
his
CG
hair looked.
face-wise.
Yeah.
That's probably why. It's very much CG.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have. I don't think I care enough. I just wouldn't have CG'd them, especially Defoe. Like I think Defoe
he looked weirder with the CG face.
Yeah, he looked weirder with it because Defoe, he's aged, but he hasn't aged because he's always been an old man.
Yeah, like early 90s he was young, and then post that he just sort of became very old suddenly.
Like, I think if you just dyed his hair, and he was clean shaven, and a bit of makeup, I think it would have been fine. If I'm being honest.
I find it weird that no one else came through. It just specifically had to be them.
No,
like, I would have loved
more were going to come through. That's the whole thing. They were the first.
No, but I love how it was so convenient that it was the ones we'd already seen. Like, imagine you just had some imagine Madam Spider came through. I know she's not really a villain, but imagine she just came through and you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
from Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark.
No. We've come full circle with this podcast franchise. But no, like I would have loved to have seen, like, I don't know, fucking the Rhino. I would have loved that.
Well, you see a different universe version of the Rhino at the end.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an outline, though.
That was weird. Why did they have outlines?
I don't know, because they were kind of very, like, spiritual in a way. I don't know. It's kind of like, it was like Jackie Chan Adventures. Talismans. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we've kind of gone off the rails in this episode, haven't we? We're just referencing things.
Well, this film's plot structure is very. It's a lot like Endgame. It was very much trying to be a finale and kind of
like, it's not really a third film. It is kind of like more of a celebration.
It's a Spider-Man celebration, yeah.
Which pissed me off because I would have really have loved like a third film, and then this have been like an extra film.
I was thinking the first 20 until the bridge battle, it's the third film.
Yeah, and then it just switches.
Yeah, it just switches to a multiverse film.
Yeah.
Almost like they got lost in writing.
Yeah, like you can tell, it's like, right, can you just write this? It'll be easy because, like, you know these characters, you don't really have to give them character development or anything. It's like, alright. I love how they go to Happy's apartment just to be like, alright, so this is going to be a big set piece later on in the film.
Yeah, you can even see in how the apartment's not laid out like a normal apartment.
I thought the action in this film was awful.
I liked the action in this film. I actually really liked the apartment battle. Because...
I hate it because I said it was edited really weirdly because it just cuts weirdly. So, you know when Electro throws him through a window?
Yeah.
And then, like, suddenly Goblin has him, and you're like, wait, what? You know, like, I think it was just, I don't know whether it was
editing. No, that bit was super weird. No, it's Lizard grabs him and fucks him back into the building. Because
I thought like
I thought Lizard was trying to save him for a second.
Yeah, because I thought the projector rolled or something. I was like, wait, what just happened? Because it was literally like a split second. It feels like there was a shot missing.
So Spider-Man gets thrown out of the building by Goblin. Lizard grabs him and throws him back into the building, and then Goblin's
but like at a different floor.
Yeah, and then Goblin is suddenly just kind of there.
Yeah, I feel like
that's really funny. That's really fun. This pinpoints the difference between me and you and how we observe fight scenes specifically. Because that's not what I was focusing on. What I was focusing on is something I've definitely I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I know I've talked about it normally about the Flash next year in terms of how I want Keaton to fight. In terms of fact, like, I don't want him to move like as fight scenes work now, where it'll be some stunt double in a suit doing flips, kind of fighting how Affleck would. Like, I like them to move how they did, and I actually thought Goblin did that very well. They actually had they didn't switch him out for some big martial arts master stunt double. He moved like he did in the old films. It was very slow. Every move was very deliberate. Yeah. It was small strikes, but it was big, powerful strikes, which is how he moved in the original. So it was very fun to see, because Tom fights very different to how Toby fought. So it's very interesting to see how they kind of mix that up. I'm a professional wrestler, so this is how I know this stuff. I observe fake fighting for a job.
I just think it was more the fact that, like, you know, Far From Home had some really good action sequences, and this does not kind of... I think it was the fact that they were like, oh no, this is going to be great. This is like going to be the best action sequences that we've had. I think the action...
the more physicality of it.
Because, like, the action sequence for me, it's like, the bridge was really... I liked that. Because it was like, he was trying to, like... Oh, yeah, completely. But I think the actual sequence itself was done really well. Because it's him trying to save people and stuff. Whereas, it's just him getting beat up in the apartment. It's like, well, there's no risk here, really. You're just getting beat up a wee bit. Like, I know Aunt May has the, you know, the serum, whatever bullshit later on or whatever. But, you know what I mean? Like, there just wasn't that kind of, oh, help me situation. Because usually I think a lot of Spider-Man sequences are good because he's fighting, but he's also trying to save someone at the same time. So that's why there's a lot of tension. Because I know he's not going to be killed in the middle of the film. You know what I mean? I know he's not going to die.
I think the fight scene in the apartment should have revolved around him saving May.
Yeah.
It should have been about him trying to get May out of the building,
not
and her putting herself back into harm's way.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more interesting. Because I'm fine with it for the final battle, like the one between him and Goblin at the very, very end. Because at that point that's being built up to is it's nothing but these two just fucking hate each other.
Well, I was just sitting there, I was just like, he could so fuck him up. Why doesn't he just fuck him up?
Who?
Like, Peter probably could really fuck him up.
He does.
Very easily. Yeah, but not really, because, like, Goblin does get a couple of hits in him. I'm like, Peter, you could probably really fuck him up, like...
well, that's more of a site... Well, this comes down to me using my... what I'm going to call my pretentious fighter brain.
Yeah.
It's definitely
I think it's because
Peter is... Well, Peter at this point in the film is... This is Goblin. He's fighting on pure fucking aggression. Goblin's the reason Aunt May's dead. The others weren't the reason Aunt May was dead. Goblin wasn't really... Goblin should have been playing about that entire final battle. I don't really know where he was. That's a bit weird.
Yeah, he fucked in. He just came in. He was fucked off for ages. Then he comes in. It's just like, where was he?
That was a little weird.
Where, like, you know, it was obviously, again, a writing problem, I imagine.
Or just having too many people together at once.
Because they wanted to kind of set up this kind of, like, final thing. Right, let's compare it to Man of Steel. Because Zod is like... We'll count Zod as Green Goblin. Because, you know, Zod kind of comes in towards the end of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But it kind of works. Because, like, you know, he's trying to do something and then something fucks up.
Well, Zod had his own things going on, and he has that conversation with Jor-El.
Yeah. Like, I think Goblin should have been doing something, at least. You know, we should have seen... someone been fighting him, or I don't know, I just think it could have been handled a lot better. It was just weird him just coming in. It's like, alright, fine, you know.
Yeah, that's a little strange. I would have liked more kind of acknowledgement of how people were different across the multiverse, because, like, Peter knew... Andrew Garfield knew the Osborns.
Yeah. Like, I find it weird that it's just like, yeah, you know... I really wish there was a couple of Green Goblins in here. Not James Franco, obviously, because I don't think he would have been hired. You know, there's a situation there. I really would have loved to have seen... honestly, I would have loved it. Could you imagine? Because imagine Norman would have just killed him straight away. He was like, fuck you. I don't know who you are. I just would have... I wish they were all back. You know, even Venom, even Topher Grace's Venom. I actually wouldn't mind that.
I'm going to guess you've heard the theory about why Hardy's Venom seemingly knows Peter's Spider-Man.
No.
Right, so because
that's my problem with that.
The symbiotes are connected across the multiverse, and I think they are in the comics as well.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
So people are thinking it's because a Venom symbiote had been attached to a Peter Parker.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What I actually...
Because, like, that's why I was confused. I was like, well, how does, where's Tom Hardy's Venom from? Because, does that mean Tom Hardy knows? I love how I'm now calling him Eddie Brock, just Tom Hardy. Does that mean Tom Hardy...
When you talk about this film, it's just easier.
Yeah, because, like...
actors.
Do you know...
Spider-Verse did it well because they had Peter A and Peter B. Parker.
Yeah. Like, does Tom Hardy know the Peter Parker Spider-Man, or does Venom know the Peter Parker Spider-Man? And if Venom knows how, because Venom was in space until very recently,
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's because Topher Grace's Peter is connected. Interesting enough, people are like, oh, they're definitely not going to cross over now. I actually think it might be the opposite. So I don't know if it was the case in the Ultimate Comics, but it was definitely a case in the Ultimate Game, where I think that this is going to lead into how Venom's going to get the spider symbol on his chest.
Yeah.
So I think that the black suit's going to bond with Peter. They're going to do that for a film or so. And I think they're going to bring Eddie Brock in with Secret Wars.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do different Venom.
I don't think so. I think that when that piece of symbiote goes back onto Tom Hardy's Venom, I think that's going to give him the white logo.
I know what you mean, but I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work, because I can't see Tom Hardy's Venom fighting Tom Holland. Because, he's obviously an anti-hero. I would have liked to seen, a more vicious Venom.
I think they're going to turn Holland into a villain.
Really?
I don't think I think they could. I don't think this is going to happen next. I think it certainly could be next, because this Peter is going to become... This is going to be very similar to what Amazing Spider-Man 3, I think, was intended to be, with a very introverted, very closed-off Peter. Peter's not going to try and be friends with people in this new film coming. I don't think. I think we're going to see him very much be a fucking weirdo and a loner, because he doesn't have the event. He has literally no one.
Literally no one knows who he is.
What I really don't get is how Neds doesn't know who Peter is, because he wasn't close with MJ or Happy before they knew he was Spider-Man.
No, I think it was just the fact that even had they met before, it was like the spell worked so that they never ever met. Anyone ever met Peter.
Yeah, I guess. So,
which is kind of really fucking sad.
I had two comments when this is over. At first, a part of me genuinely thought, it was like, is Spider-Man out of the MCU?
Nah.
He's not. We know that now in the Spider-Man 4s. It was just because it was so kind of, he's not connected to anything at the end of this film.
But I like that he can be this, he is this Spider-Man from the comics now, where he is this friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and no one knows his... I mean, because we've already seen, Peter Parker struggle, but now we're going to see him struggle in, the real world.
Yeah. So then this is my second thing. This film almost ends off where the game picks up, apart from Aunt May being...
Which game?
Dead. PS4. It's almost like, because he has the shitty apartment in the city.
Oh yeah.
He has his homemade suit. He's checking the police scanners. He's gonna be broke. It's almost like where the game picks up.
Oh yeah. Well, I really love that fucking suit.
The one at the end.
Oh fuck me!
That was a cool fucking suit.
Oh, no one can argue that. That is the best one now.
Well, when we see it, actually, I want to see it.
Oh yeah, we saw it in the shadows. Yeah.
And it'll be so cool when it's turned black.
Even the shine.
It'll be so cool when it's turned black.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was why did Venom... Actually, I think that's... No.
What?
Hang on. So, this movie contradicts itself a lot. Because I swore that the only reason those villains were brought through is because they knew Peter was Spider-Man, but Electra didn't know Peter was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The other four did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that's why Hardy was brought through, because the Venom multiverse theory.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, if that whole Venom thing works, that's fine. Yeah.
Is what it is. But why was Electra
there? Did he not find out at the end? No, he didn't. Did he?
Yeah, at the end. No, he finds out at the end.
Electro.
Yeah. Andrew takes his mask off and goes up to him.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't know what to say. Very fun. Yeah, well, I think this film was just really poorly written anyways.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Tom Holland said that, a lot of stuff is rewritten on the day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fairly obvious.
I don't think this is a fair... Because I don't blame John Watts. I don't blame the two writers. Because I imagine they were just like, right, you have to do this. This is the way you're doing it. You know?
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of this was mainly advised by Kevin Feige and Sony. Yeah, Amy Pascal. Like, I think there was a lot of that going on. I think John Watts was merely a J.J. Abrams in this situation.
Yeah. No offense to John Watts, though. Do not do the next trilogy.
Yeah. I think it's smart if you have a different director each trilogy as well.
Yeah, I liked having a consistent director for this trilogy because that's why the music was at least.
Yeah.
Stuff like the music, the choreography.
Well, everything was very consistent.
They were fairly consistent throughout this trilogy.
This film's the only one that has inconsistencies, and I think that's more due to the fact that he didn't really direct it, or had much control, I imagine, over, I should say.
Yeah, it was just steering a ship that already had a destination.
Yeah, because like I think had he done that Craven film.
That's an analogy I've never used before, and I'm very proud of thinking of it on the spot.
But no, like, I think, I don't know, my opinions of this film are very mixed. It is my least favourite of the trilogy, I feel. Just because...
I don't think it's my least favourite. I think Homecoming might be the best of the trilogy.
Yeah, I think Far From Home, personally.
I tried rewatching Far From Home, but I don't know if I just watched it a little recently, so I just didn't really want to watch it. Because I just kind of turned it off, and I'd watched a lot of Spider-Man leading up to it.
Yeah, I think that might just be it. So right, can we talk about Amazing Spider-Man?
I mean, we have an hour and a half episode of us doing it, but go ahead.
No, but like people changing their minds now about it because they like Andrew.
No, this is a situation. This is a Clone Wars situation again. Oh, this is what you were referring to earlier. Yeah, I didn't know what you meant by that. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean now, yeah. Where people think that it gets turned good from this, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah. But people are saying, oh, maybe we were too hard on the Amazing Spider-Man films. I was like, no, they're pretty bad. They're still pretty bad.
They're really bad films.
Yeah.
And the characters aren't consistent in No Way Home with the Amazing Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah, it was really cool, Andrew getting to save MJ. That was.
I find it well depressing that, because he's probably the most hopeful one. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I think he is the most hopeful Spider-Man, right? Well, in a believable way, whereas Tobey's kind of like very emotionless.
Well, that was very post 9/11.
I'll get into his performance later in this film.
Who, Tobey?
Yeah. Well, I'll get on, but yeah, no, Andrew in this I found very weird because I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened to you? I know you had a bad spell and stuff, but you were kind of hopeful towards the end. What the fuck happened?
He gave off very big stoner vibes.
He gave off very big, I killed a ton of people. I was like, what?
I took it as how Holland, I think, will be in the next film, where he's just kind of being a horrible recluse, probably living in the sewers or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I find it weird that Tobey and Andrew didn't talk about any other villains that they had previously, and what I mean by that is they just kind of retconned their trilogy. Like, we didn't have any proper villains beyond that. And I was like, really? Because they were quite common occurrences at that point. I mean, Andrew, you'd live in the universe where the villains go into a fucking room to get their fucking origin story.
Especially, it wasn't as much of an issue with Tobey, I don't think. It was definitely an issue
Tobey,
with Andrew.
not so much. Andrew, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really weird on Andrew's one. Because all he mentioned was Lizard, and I mean, we knew there was a Venom, we knew there was a Doc Ock.
Well, Venom got cut from the film. And they replaced
it.
They replaced it with, I can't remember which one it was.
Vulture, I think.
Yeah.
So I knew there was a Vulture.
Doc
Why
Ock.
didn't they do it? Doc Ock.
What else? There was
I don't
Reiner,
remember.
there was Vulture, there was Doc Ock, there was Green Goblin.
Yeah, well, they were gonna do there was a deleted scene where there was gonna be Norman's head in a frozen jar, and he was gonna be Goblin King.
Oh dear. I can't remember what else said. Who cares? Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
funny that there's did Spider-Verse continue Andrew's Spider-Man better than this did?
I think Spider-Verse is a better film altogether, and I think what annoys me is the fact
Spider-Verse
that
is a better film.
my
that's
problem
not a
is it's
question.
clearly this was clearly trying to go off the tide. It's like Rise of Skywalker tried to do Endgame. This tried to do Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
You know, because I think my problem is I would have really had liked the introductions of the Spider, like, you know, Andrew Spider to be very similar to the one, you know, Tobey and Andrew Spider-Man to be very similar to what they did in Spider-Verse, where it's like, you know, we see some clips from previous movies, but we see what kind of happened after that, rather than them just talking about it. Because them talking about it didn't really... There was no context, because I didn't really know what happened afterwards, you know. But by you saying it doesn't add anything. I just think it would have been better.
It was just... no, because I think if they were to do that, they would have had to come in earlier in the film. And where they came in the film, I think it made sense for them not to do that, because it would have broken it a little bit. If they had been introduced at the end of the first act, I think you could have done that.
Well, this is two films, really, altogether, anyways.
Yeah, that's the issue with this film. And I was saying this from the start. I was like, when Spider-Verse was announced, I was like, ooh, this is... I'm very thankful they didn't introduce Miles in this film, because that was rumored.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard
it was gonna
that.
be too much. Spider-Gwen was also rumored.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. You were like, no, Emma Stone. I was like, she's having a way.
Well, I thought... Because originally I was like, yeah, but she was pregnant during it. I was like, to be fair. It was when Sandman was looking to just be made of sand in the film. I was like,
yeah.
I mean, they could just CGI it.
Yeah.
That was my only thing about it. I was like, just because of Sandman being on CGI and Lizard and it already being kind of very COVID-riddled,
Yeah.
I was like, they could just do it in CG.
Yeah. Fair.
But they didn't, thankfully. Should Toby have died at the end?
Nah, people would have been pissed off. I didn't really mind that whole situation. I was like, fuck, okay, you're going to kill him? Fair enough.
Yeah, well, I thought it made sense for Goblin to actually be the one to finally stab him. But
I do like Norman's. Well, this is a big issue I just remembered, and this we're probably going to talk about this for a while. So you know how Peter saved them from their fate?
Yeah.
What happened when they went back?
Oh, Endgame. It just creates a new timeline.
Does it?
Yeah, no, it does.
Because
you can't change.
That's
the
what I
past
thought
and the
was
present.
really weird.
It just creates a new timeline.
But then, what's the point in saving them in the first place? If
Because
there's just multiple versions of them.
They'll still continue. It's just due to Peter. That's why Peter sees no point in it. He's like, well, I don't care about these guys. And Aunt May's like, that doesn't matter. That's not who you are.
I do find weird that in that universe, because if Green Goblin doesn't happen, then Otto doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, unless Norman gave the funding to the fucking fusion reactor, but
No, because the only reason it all happens is because of
Harry gave the funding.
Harry, because Harry's like, I don't really know what to do. I'm not really...
Well, it's because Harry wanted to move Oscorp away from weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think it just creates a new timeline. That's the only... Yeah.
I think that, you know, because that really confused me. I was like, so, like, what the fuck? Does this mean, you know, certain things don't happen, or...
No, it won't happen in that new timeline. So, no one was variants that I think of. I think then they became variants by the end of the film.
Yeah, probably.
Like...
Why didn't the TVA show up?
It was supposed to happen, I guess.
Yeah, weird.
Well, no, it depends.
It creates
no,
all
TVA,
kinds of problems.
The TVA might be disbanded by this point.
Yeah. No, but there's multiple versions of the TVA.
No,
the
TVA exists in the quantum realm, and the quantum realm exists in all of it.
Oh, yeah, fair. Weird.
There's only one TVA. They jump from timeline to timeline.
Anyways, I think that's kind of it, is it?
Yeah, we'll talk about... Actually, no, is that it?
I think that's it.
I want to talk about the Doctor Strange trailer.
Oh, I don't care. It looks awful.
It did not look very good.
No.
Like,
I would have been more hyped had they shown nothing.
It looked cheap.
It looks like a Sam Raimi film. And I just wasn't hyped whatsoever. Everyone's like, oh, it looks amazing. I was like, but they didn't show anything that amazing. Like, nothing was that cool. I mean, like, they're like, oh, evil Doctor Strange. And I was like, yeah, but he's not really evil, is he?
Well,
it's the guy from What If.
Is he going to be evil? Even What If was very convoluted on if he was evil or not.
Yeah. Don't know.
Like,
I don't really care for it. And now I hear to do all the reshoots are about adding in cameos, and then I'm like, oh no, it's going to be another No Way Home incident.
Yeah.
I think they got some people to watch No Way Home. People liked it. Like, people, like normal people like it. Other than us.
Yeah.
Because of all this pandering. And then now they're just going to do a ton of pandering in Multiverse of Madness.
Secret Wars is going to be a fucking... Well, actually, no, that's what I wanted to talk about. Andrew and Toby apparently are not done.
Yeah.
So
by the way, Tobey Maguire's performance in this is very... I just want this for the money. I don't really care about this character. Let's move on. I look very tired.
That was his performance in Spider-Man 3 as well.
I know. No, because at least in Spider-Man 3 there's some moments where I'm like, you're trying.
Actually, no, I really fucking liked, even though it was 10 seconds long, I loved his little interaction with Otto.
Yeah, that was the only part of me that was like, he cares. I think it was just because it was Alfred Molina. I think that's why.
Yeah. In fact, when he was holding up the glider, I mean, that was nice.
It's such an awkward stare moment. I'm gonna put like sexy music to that clip someday and just make it seem really awkward. Where it just zooms in on their faces.
Yeah, but no, the scene with him and Molina and him, that was an instance of repeated lines that works. There's a way to repeat lines. Him saying I'm something of a scientist myself, it doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
That was...
And they pause because they know everyone's going to laugh. I didn't laugh.
Toby kind of thinking about everything he's been through and then kind of thinking about who he was and who he is now and saying, I'm still trying to do better.
Yeah.
That works within the character. It's not just... And that's not even a line people really remember. I know I'm sad.
Could you see even Alfred, Doc Ock just kind of like wild teary-eyed, and it's just, you're all grown up and stuff. Like, it's such a... I love... That was a good interaction.
It's a very genuine moment where he's just like, how are you?
And it's almost because
do better.
Both those actors probably really liked working with each other. It was like, oh, we get to have this nice moment again.
As Doc Ock looks, just goes out the power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
It was a very nice scene. Even the scene, and Andrew and Electro, I really liked their scene as well.
Yeah.
Those were... I think if they were to bring them back, you need more scenes like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's Secret Wars they might be back for.
Probably even Multiverse. Maybe even Multiverse. They probably they were probably doing reshoots. Yeah.
I've heard no more solo projects for Toby, maybe more solo projects for Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that being the case.
But that's
Andrew Garfield looked like he had a lot of fun in this film.
Oh, definitely. I think he's just happy to be back. I mean,
yeah, it was very nice.
I think. No, go on.
Well, it's because it's not like he's not carrying the franchise.
Yeah,
so he is
he's just a side character
running in and playing dress up.
Yeah, I think he likes them a lot more.
Yeah, and because he's essentially running in and just doing the usual Spider-Man shtick and then gets to go home. He doesn't really need more than that. It's cute.
But I think that's kind of it for Spider-Man. Over the past... When do we start this? August? Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
Mental.
I mean, I think we've been talking about it since the original state of the MCU.
Yeah.
Must have.
Because that's when they started filming.
Yeah,
that was
and that was when the rumors
3,
started.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because episode 1 was DC. I think episode 2 was a game.
Call of Duty.
Episode 3 was. Yeah. Episode 3 was.
But like,
MCU.
you know, I imagine we'll probably obviously talk about Spider-Man in the future, whether that be through TV shows or games. But I've enjoyed going back to all these films and watching them as well. You know, as much as like I kind of like even criticize this one, I enjoyed it in parts, and I think that's kind of obvious from just listening to both of us complain and talk about them. But you know,
and you just have to remember, like, me and Alex are really bad influences on each other. So when he starts complaining, I get a bit giddy and I start complaining. Like, a lot of this, we haven't spoken well, so a lot of it is just us kind of rambling back and forth. So I don't think...
Especially about the film,
I don't hate this film as much as I think I accidentally made out here.
Yeah.
But it's just I haven't really gone to dissect this film with anyone, and that's when you kind of start seeing it. Like, I don't take it that seriously, but... Yeah.
I just still think it's a bunch of wasted potential, but
no. Better. I mean, if you were doing a film this big, I don't know why you would do it during a really bad pandemic.
And why you'd rush it? I think literally my only problem with this is they rushed it, and that's what pisses me off.
Because they had Venom 2 coming out anyway, and they had Morbius. There was no
Morbius, and they delayed Morbius,
and they have 2 new Spider-Verse films coming out.
It's probably more of a Marvel thing. In the contract?
No, I think it's Sony.
Sony
want a Spider-Man film every 2 years.
Right. So Tom Holland is 2 years free.
No, I know. Well, I hope they give it 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. You need a break after this.
Holland needs 3. I mean, he's talking about starting a family.
Yeah. But and he's doing a ton of other shit as well. But
well, I mean, Uncharted's not getting any sequels.
No. But again, another Sony film. It'll do another Sony film.
Well, I mean, yeah, he wants to be in Spider-Verse.
I can see that. Probably more part 2. I'd say they'd all be in part 2.
Maybe. Do you want to quickly talk about that, or we leave it?
Nah, we'll leave it. I imagine we'll do sort of like a Spider-Verse-y kind of thing at some point.
Yeah.
So.
We should
after we rewatch this film,
we should do a recording of us playing Shattered Dimensions.
I've never played it.
Have you not?
No, I haven't actually played it. That's the one with the 4 of them, is it?
Yeah. The only reason that popped in my head is because I looked at my shelf at the other end of the room and it's actually all
right. Because all I know is you can I don't know, you can switch between them or something. Or I don't know.
Nah, so there's like each Spider-Man has 3 or 4 sets of. There's 4 missions. You do 4 missions, and each mission is a Spider-Man because it's not open world. Why are we talking about this? We'll talk.
We'll move on. We'll move on. Right, but no, that has been Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's been all the Spider-Man films, really.
That's been the Homecoming trilogy. That's been
mental.
The Amazing films. It's been the Raimi films. We've done it.
Yeah,
it's all over.
I imagine we'll come back and talk about all of them again. I imagine we'll rewatch them all at some point.
Maybe in a year. I mean, we said we were going to do that with Star Wars, and we still haven't done that.
I think I'll probably do it more with the ones I'll probably rewatch again is The Amazing Spider-Man. Just I want to see. Maybe people are right. They're definitely not, but maybe they are.
We've watched them this year. They were crap.
Yeah. But that's been that. That's been our episode. Thank you to Buzzsprout for hosting as always. And yeah, good luck.
We run something of a podcast ourselves.